Hello guys, welcome back to Gospel News, where we give you no bonge information on as it take the go. In case you never follow us on our social media handles, let's go straight to the reason why we are here today. It's about Nnamdi Kanu, the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. No be small matter, now in the sub for here. Nnamdi Kanu has been incarcerated by the Nigerian government after he was kidnapped in Kenya and extraordinarily renditioned back to Nigeria. Barrister Aloy Ejimakor has called on the failed government of Nigeria under Muhammadu Buhari to release Nnamdi Kanu Tutu Tinubu took over from him in May 2023. Now, Barrister Aloy Ejimakor have made a statement that releasing Nnamdi Kanu is not an act of mercy, but simply obeying court order. This is what he told the current president, which is Tinubu, that he should do the needful, and it is not act of mercy. That is just playing by the rules and keeping the game straight, and making sure that the rule of law is obeyed and respected in Nigeria. While I also play you a video update of Nnamdi Kanu's court case, how it went when Barrister Ozekhome, senior advocate of Nigeria, briefed the press. I'm going to bring you that in a jiffy. But first of all, let's look at what Barrister Aloy Ejimakor said about this illegal detention of Nnamdi Kanu. Aloy Ejimakor, the special counsel for the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has said that the continued detention of his client amounts to imprisonment without conviction. Ejimakor noted that Kanu is either facing any trial nor has any charges standing against him. In a statement released on Tuesday night titled, "Releasing Nnamdi Kanu is not an act of mercy, but an act of doing the right thing," the lawyer said, "The calls for the release of the leader of the separatist group should not be misconstrued to means as pleas for mercy." According to Ejimakor, the detention of Kanu is manifestly extrajudicial and unconstitutional to boot. Now, waiting they tell Buhari direct, face to face. Buhari should, Tinubu, because this Buhari and Wala too much, and I make it enter my mouth every time. Tinubu should do the needful now, that there is also time to also save his face from shame. But I just wonder whether this one could do that. Remember that Tinubu is in bed with the cabals ruining Nigeria. He argued that Kanu's detention following his extraordinary rendition is also not legal, as rendition is an egregious state crime that destroys the legal capacity of the state to detain the victim of the rendition, in addition to also complicating the prosecutional powers of the state against such victim. Now, waiting Barrister Aloy Ejimakor, they tell us. The statement partly read, "The matter of releasing Nnamdi Kanu is not an act of mercy, executive clemency, or even amnesty. Instead, it's an act of doing the right thing by simply complying with the subsisting municipal court order or the standing international tribunal decision that independently declared his detention illegal. Alternatively, the decision can also be properly proceed through a sound invocation of the copious constitutional provisions on discontinuation of prosecutions, such as the one that is irredeemably unsustainable." Ejimakor added, "It is pertinent to note that in the previous but related matter of the infamous proscription of IPOB and the attendant criminalization of its vast members by the Nigerian government in 2017, I promptly levied a conventional legal challenge against the proscription, and in March 2018, the Continental Tribunal ruled in favor of Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB. and accordingly directed the Nigerian government to reverse the proscription and the case and desist from any further law enforcement actions against Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB members. The Nigerian government did not listen to this order. Nigeria has become a country where there is so much lawlessness that nobody can contain the excesses anymore. What is Barrister Aloy Ejimakor saying here in this statement? He said that in 2018 that he took up the case over the proscription of IPOB, and after the ruling, they said that it is illegal for Buhari, as at then, I think so, he should be the one, for Buhari to be prosecuting IPOB members and also withdraw the proscription of IPOB and its members in entirety. Up to today, Buhari did not do that. Rather, they ran away from the court. Thus, the subsequent rendition of Nnamdi Kanu, the arrest and detention, tortures, the disappearances, and the widespread extrajudicial killings of IPOB members should not have happened had the authorities complied with this landmark continental decision. Because Nigeria is a lawless state, when the court rules, they will never obey simple instructions. According to Ejimakor, it is relevant to stress the fact that following the rendition, I had also initiated a complex constitutional suit against the government of Nigeria. And on the 26th of October 2022, the Federal High Court ruled in favor of Nnamdi Kanu and accordingly declared both the extraordinary rendition and the consequent detention as flagrant violations of the Constitution. Thus, Nnamdi Kanu's release from detention vested from the very day this judgment was given, and the days are still counting to this day because the judgment is extant and not stayed. Therefore, if Nigeria truly respects her constitution and her court, it will be needless to be constantly calling on the authorities to do the needful by releasing Nnamdi Kanu on a competent judgment that unambiguously ordered his release. Remember that the Court of Appeal ruled that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu should be released and returned back to his original abode, either to Kenya or to the United Kingdom. He recalled that the United Nations in July 2022, in a highly critical opinion, unequivocally directed that Kanu should be freed unconditionally, and even went further to call on Nigeria to pay reparations to him as recompense for the rendition, which is illegal. He said, as a bona fide member of the United Nations, Nigeria is bound by treaty and customary international law to faithfully comply with this directive. But the problem I have now is that up to today, none of these directives has been obeyed. And the so-called United Nations has failed to carry out any legal actions against the Nigerian state over the disobedience to their orders. This is very shameful, even to the United Nations. It's a very big shame. According to his statement, he said, as a bona fide member of the United Nations, Nigeria is bound by treaty and customary international law to faithfully comply with this directive. Failing to do so stigmatizes Nigeria as a nation that lacks respect for the United Nations, the same institution that passed the historic resolution that legalized self-determination and does so to Nigeria's independence. In view of the foregoing, it is a fallacy to suggest that releasing Nnamdi Kanu from the detention is an act of mercy, and failing that an event that must await the uncertain conclusion of the appeal currently pending and delayed before the Supreme Court. To be sure, Nnamdi Kanu's fate does not lie in this appeal alone, because the appeal is but one of the several cases that were triggered municipally and internationally by the extraordinary rendition, and all the cases are independent, of equal stature, and aimed at securing Nnamdi Kanu's release. He went further to, talk about this illegal and extraordinary rendition, plus the killings of IPOB members around the Southeast, which is unacceptable. When local is not in prison or a correctional institution, but a hideous DSS cell, which is no different from a dark cell, or even worse in some ramifications. Here, he said the detention with the Karimazi Nnamdi Kanu go put for DSS detention. Says it shows that this country, what they call Nigeria, is irredeemable. In line with that, I want to play you a video from Barrister Mike Ozekhome, where he made a statement that the detention of this innocent man with the Karimazi Nnamdi Kanu will drone Nigeria. Release him now to save your faces. But I wonder whether the Nigerian government would heed to this call and do the needful. Let's watch him speak.
The lawyer of the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, who is in the Department of State Services DSS custody, has said that Kanu requires urgent ear surgery amidst his reported failing health. Mike Ozekhome made this known at the Abuja Federal High Court during the hearing of the case where Kanu is seeking an order granting him unhindered access to his personal doctor. The senior lawyer also stated that the DSS has repeatedly refused to grant Nnamdi Kanu access to his doctor and has also refused to release medical records of the pro-Biafra agitator, even after medical team confirmed the need for his medical attention. Ozekhome stressed that the action of the DSS indicates that it is unwilling to allow his client access to proper medical attention, which is in breach of Section 7 of the Anti-Torture Act. In his reply, the DSS lawyer informed the court that Kanu is being given proper feeding and medical attention while in DSS custody, and therefore urged the court to dismiss Kanu's case. After listening to the submission, the trial judge, Justice Binta Nyako, adjourned the suit to July 20 for judgment. Nnamdi Kanu had in a suit said he would need his doctors to conduct an independent examination to ascertain his actual state of health. Kanu is praying the court for an order granting him leave to apply for judicial review in the form of an order of mandamus compelling the respondents to allow him unhindered access to his medical doctors to enable them conduct an independent examination of his present deteriorating health condition, as earlier ordered by the Federal High Court, Abuja, on October 21, 2021, and as required by the express provisions of Section 7 of the Anti-Torture Act 2017, as well as an order of this Honorable Court granting leave to the applicant to apply for judicial review in the form of an order of mandamus, compelling the respondent to avail the applicant with all his medical records from the 29th day of June 2021 till date. Kanu listed some of the records he would require from the DSS to include his admission records, medical and clinical notes, nursing notes, observation charts and documentation during treatment or stay in hospital, laboratory test results, pharmaceutical records, radiological scans, images and reports, blood transfusion records, physiotherapy and rehabilitative treatment records, clinical findings, as well as diagnosis and treatment prescribed records.
They are wrong and they are wrong. And today, the court has had us asking for an order of mandamus, compelling the SSS to provide his medical records. If you have nothing to hide, what harm does it bring to you to provide Nnamdi Kanu's medical records for us, his lawyers, to see? We're also asking for an order of mandamus that he should be allowed to see his personal physician as ordered by this same court on the 21st of October 2021. What has he asked for? That we hurt the federal government. How can you be the person, the agency that arrested, forcibly renditioned him back from Kenya to Nigeria? You are the same agency detaining him. You are the same agency that investigated him. You are the same agency prosecuting him. You are the same agency again detaining him. You are the same agency opposing his bail for application. You are the same agency opposing his application to be transferred, at least from your gulag to the Kuje Correctional Center, which is a place meant for people who have been granted bail, as was his case. So they have become not just the judge and the prosecutor. They are also the arrestor, the detainer, the prosecutor, the investigator, the judge. And you cannot run a country like that. SSS, listen, and listen good. Abide by the order of the Court of Appeal made on the 13th of October 2021. Let Nnamdi Kanu go. Release him. Let my people go. Moses told the Egyptians, let my people go. They will not hear. He was with his brother Aaron. Am I right? They will not hear. And Pharaoh, the Egyptian emperor, brought magicians. Anything that Moses conjured, they will conjure to show their power, the power of man. But it was God in action. Go and read Exodus 8:19. The finger of God. When the camp of Moses conjured little lice in the head, those small insects in the head. When they conjured them, the Pharaoh Egyptian magicians tried to also conjure the same gnat, the same lice. They could not. And that was the smallest of all the feats. They went back to Pharaoh and said, this is the finger of God. Let these people go. But Pharaoh was already deafened. He will not hear of it. When the Israelites were going, God parted the Red Sea for them to go through. And then the Pharaoh army with chariots and charioteers, they came steaming, pursuing the Israelites. And God closed the Red Sea for them, and they drowned. This is a caveat to the federal government. Don't let this Nnamdi Kanu drown us.
All right, guys, on I don't see now the update from Nnamdi Kanu side be that to this matter. I don't the red, don't the long go. This is not what we expected. But when you have a country that is lawless, what should we expect? It is things like this that is worrying the country and making the country not to move forward, because there is no rule of law and nobody is willing to, obey the laws of the land, even though they claim to be government who are law-abiding and all that. Let us know what you think about it through the comment section. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.